Welcome to the Scottsdale Vibes podcast. I'm Alicia Haygood. We all know that we are a small business society here in Scottsdale, which I absolutely love, and we have so much success here. But this kid, because I mean, yes, he's an adult by age, but like still a child in my mind, is one of the most successful business owners here in Scottsdale that I've met. Youngest person to own a brick and mortar store in the United States at the ripe old age of 15. So he has now graduated high school. Stemistry is his company. Dylan Capshaw is his name. And we have him at the table this week telling us all about what it's like to be a serial entrepreneur at the ripe old age of a young teenager. So we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll have Dylan Capshaw of Stemistry with us. When it comes to protecting you, your family, and all your assets, you need to have someone that you can trust, and that's Jeremy Mueller of State Farm Insurance. Jeremy Mueller has lived in Scottsdale his whole life. How can anyone else know your needs more than someone who's been here and seen it all? Jeremy and his team are always ranked in the top % at State Farm. He cares, he's knowledgeable, and most importantly, he's always available. Don't believe me? Give him a call at 480-515-5223 or find him at jeremymueller.com. At the ripe old age of 15, Scottsdale student and now Scottsdale alumni Dylan Capshaw already had 2 nonprofit organizations for the Frontline and Capshaw Wildlife. Caring about the environment and how to give back, these seemed like a no-brainer for Dylan. Then one day in chemistry, his next grand idea came to him, a one-of-a-kind coffee and flower shop. Hence, born is Stemistry, which is about to open its 3rd location here in Scottsdale. So Dylan, I'm just going to start. When I was 15, I was absolutely not thinking about what I was going to do when I was in chemistry class, although I loved chemistry class. Wasn't thinking about how to save the world. Definitely wasn't thinking about my next business, story, but you are now on your 3rd business idea. You just graduated high school. Congratulations in May. You're about to become an ASU student. At what age you're like, oh, I'm just going to start these companies? Did this form for you?
Yeah, well, I really appreciate that. Thank you. I've always loved business. Business has always been a passion of mine, whether it's like reselling slime in elementary school or little squishy things I was buying online. I was always like the little traveling salesman in the class. So it's
Did you ever like little briefcase?
Exactly. Yeah, it got shut down eventually, but I loved starting little things here and there. And philanthropy as well. I love helping people. I love helping animals. That's where my 2 nonprofits, one for frontline workers and one for animals, started. So my first ever business was a nonprofit. I was 13 in 5th grade, and that's when I started the wildlife rescue. So over the years, we accumulated dozens of exotic animals that I cared for, and it was so much fun getting to learn really responsibility and hard work, and it was a lot of work taking care of the animals. So I think that kind of laid the foundation for a for-profit business next. And then Stemistry was born out of that wildlife rescue, simply reselling some of the exotic flowers and plants that I had for the animals to eat. So that kind of led into the next thing, and Stemistry ever since has been growing and growing, and it's been so much fun.
Let's talk a little bit more about the environmental, animal love, and nonprofit kind of side of you, because that was your base foundation for who you've become, or starting to become, I should say. Where did you come up with this, and how were you just calling us like a 13, 14-year-old, like, hey, I'm going to help your exotic animals? Because as an adult, I'd be like, is this a prank call kind of thing?
Yeah, so it started, I was 13 years old, I was in 5th grade, and Hurricane Harvey hit Houston, Texas. Yep. So I remember being on my iPad and seeing all the news stories of people leaving and fleeing to get to safety, and they were leaving their pets behind.
I was there, by the way. I lived in Houston.
Really? Okay, yes. So it was heartbreaking for me. It didn't really have anything to do with me out here in Scottsdale, but it was heartbreaking seeing these pets chained to poles and being left behind. Yeah. So I went home and I said to my mom, I'm starting a wildlife rescue. And she was like, all right, after homework. So I learned how to build a website. I learned how to file paperwork for a nonprofit. I started getting everything going behind the scenes. And like 2 weeks later, I'm like, Mom, look, and this is my website. This is my name. I filed everything. And she was like, kind of surprised that actually had become something. So she, in support, posted on her Facebook page and said, my son just started a little wildlife nonprofit. Donate. He's trying to save some animals in Texas. And I ended up getting about $2,000 in donations, which was like an unheard of number for me. It was insane. And I wanted. And
what did you think in your mind the number might have been?
For me, 2,000 was millions.
Yeah.
I mean, $100 was $1,000. At that age. So it was insane. I couldn't believe how much money I had raised. So I started calling wildlife rescues in Houston and saying, hey, I'm in Scottsdale. I want to donate to you. I have this money. What would it go to? And I was kind of vetting these rescues.
Good.
And I found one. It was called the Rescued Pets Movement. And their whole principle was they would find animals that were abandoned in surplus in one state, but in demand in another. And they'd relocate them to the state they were in demand in. That way they wouldn't just be sitting in a pound and be euthanized. And I thought it was so cool. I told my mom, I'm going to send the money and donate. And she said, why don't we fly out there? I want to reward you for hard work. I want you to see what the money's going to. So we flew out. We flew to this animal rescue. The $2,000 went towards funding a venture. They filled a bus with people. We went towards a flooded grocery store, and we rescued 10 dogs. And that was my first ever kind of act of philanthropy. And it was amazing. I mean, it gave me the fire to keep going. I absolutely loved it. I had so much fun. And then over the next 2-3 years, I started adapting more into rescuing animals myself. It started with somebody saying they were shipping me a gecko from Florida. I went to the airport to pick it up, and it was a savanna monitor, which is a huge lizard, not a gecko. And that's what broke the barrier into exotics. So 3 years later, we just kind of moved the nonprofit onto its next chapter since I'm going off to college. But up until a few months ago, we had ostriches, kangaroos, monkeys, porcupines, pigs. We have a piece of property that kind of became a nonprofit animal rescue. It wasn't quite open to the public, but I would go to schools and events. I'd educate about animals. I'd teach them about animal safety. And I had so much fun doing it. We were able to save about 75 animals and successfully relocate and rehome them by the end of my short-lived career. It was a blast.
Did you work with local exotic veterinarians or anything? How did you take care of them? Or did you just Google how to take care of an ostrich and go from there?
It took a ton of help. I found when I was 14, these people in Texas had a baby wallaby that needed a home. And a wallaby is a type of kangaroo. Mm-hmm. So I said, I can do this. I can help. So they taught me everything. And I ended up working with the Arizona State Department with wildlife a ton. And they helped me a lot in kind of rehabilitating and learning. And from then, marsupials started getting sent to me. So we ended up having probably 6 by the end. And I would just rehabilitate. I'd take animals that needed a home. I'd give them a home until they found one, and then I'd send them off.
Are your parents entrepreneurs in this sense? Where did you get this bug from?
Yeah, my mom, she's definitely an entrepreneur. She starts dental practices, so it's a different field. But when it comes to payroll and employees and all that, she is my number one resource. Yep. It's absolutely amazing having her by my side. That's
fantastic. I mean, as a parent myself, I'm sure the proud is beyond words.
Thank you.
So now it's 2020. You have 2 nonprofits. You have been named one of the youngest business owners in the country with an actual brick and mortar store that you opened at 15, right, with Stemistry. And you were up for Time Magazine's Kid of the Year award, which is first ever time they did this. How did you go from the 15-year-old starting a store, and how did you do that still in high school, to where you are today, about to open up your 3rd location, by the way?
It's been an incredible journey, definitely a little business degree in of itself. Yeah, which has been amazing. I mean, I couldn't ask for anything better. As far as the Nickelodeon Time Magazine Kid of the Year, that started out of my foundation mostly for people, frontline workers, which was called For the Frontline. And basically, right when COVID hit, I was watching, again, on the news, all the frontline workers go into work with no protection. No face masks, no face shields, no gloves. They were having to reuse during shifts. And again, I was like, I can do something about this. So I had a 3D printer in my room that I'd gotten for Christmas a few years back. I loved 3D printing, little gadgets like that.
That's fair.
Yeah, so I designed a template which would make, it was a face mask, and it had a smaller opening as kind of an air filter, and it would turn one surgical mask, if you cut it right, into these little squares, these little filter pads that would last 7 uses for one mask. So it prolonged the life of one surgical mask to 7. And I started printing them, and I started calling hospitals and saying, I'll send these to you for free. And I partnered with local shipping companies, local manufacturing companies. I ended up working with the health department of Washington, D.C. to send the template abroad so people could be 3D printing them overseas. And over the next 2-3 months, we shipped out thousands of face masks, face shields, all completely for free. We accepted donations to fund shipping.
Yeah.
And that kind of fulfilled the part of me where I wanted to help people. And that got the attention of Time Magazine and Nickelodeon, which I had never really gotten recognition before. With the animals, it was just something I enjoyed doing, same with the people. So that was a first, and that was incredible. It was so much fun working with them. I got worldwide attention from that, and then that's when I started a for-profit business, kind of grew out of that.
Yeah. So let's talk about Stemistry.
Yeah.
It's a unique, one-of-a-kind coffee, but it's, I mean, you can get your basic coffee, as you say, but it's really, I love where you got the name from, because it is a chemistry of the coffees that you make,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
And you were in chemistry class when you thought about this. And then that's what you were saying earlier about the flowers coming in from, saving those as well. So talk about how this concept came about. Right. And turned into what it is today.
Yeah, it's grown a ton. At first, I was sent home from school for COVID. I was bored at home. I wanted to make money because I loved selling things.
Couldn't do your hustling at school anymore, could you?
Nope, I was isolated. So I had to get creative. So I thought to myself, animals that I have so many animals, so many exotic plants, they can eat the leaves, but the flowers are toxic. So I thought, someone's got to want these flowers. I'm throwing them all away. So I created an Etsy shop, and I listed these flowers, and I started marketing them like aromatherapy or hang it in your shower, it's decor, whatever. Just unique marketing, and they started selling. And a month later, I'm out of flowers, and I reached out to a local wholesaler, and I said, hey, send me a catalog. And I added a ton more SKUs onto my website. And I kind of created like an online floral marketplace, and it blew up. I think people wanted fresh flowers in their house. They were home, and it was appealing to them. They couldn't go out. So there was a big industry for it, and it wasn't too big at the time, buying flowers online. So I did that for 2 years. I would come home from school. I'd sit in my garage for 6 hours, so well into the night. I had the mail truck come every day, the flower delivery truck come every day. I shipped out over 15,000 orders.
Wow.
I made more money than I could have possibly imagined since my overhead was so low. But it, at the end of the day, wasn't necessarily a passion of mine. It was super fun. I love creating little businesses, but it had gotten to the point over the span of 2 years where I was like, I want to grow this. So I love coffee, and I thought I could open a flower shop, mix coffee in with it, have my employees fulfill my orders because I was getting out of control while I was at school. I was a sophomore at the time. So I created a PowerPoint, and I pitched it to my parents, and they didn't really understand the scale of what I was doing, just sitting in the garage. I showed them the amount of money that I had saved up, every single penny. I said, this is what I want to do. This is how I'm going to pay for it. But I'm 15. I can't sign the lease. So I need you to sign it. And
that's where age really came into play.
It was tough. At first, they laughed and said no. And then I kept convincing. And I said, listen, I can wait till I'm 18 and sign it. And I can keep doing this. But can I get a little jump start? I'll pay for absolutely everything. I just need your signature. And they gave me a chance, and I found a spot without a broker in Scottsdale. I signed the lease. I did all the construction by myself. My friends would come over after school, and we would order things on Amazon because I couldn't drive. I didn't have a driver's license. And I built the store, and it was so much fun. I had to hire employees, which was the most difficult thing I've ever had to do at 15. People would laugh or walk out or think it was a joke, which I don't blame them at all. I was in an old nail salon that I was transforming into a coffee shop, and I'm a kid. I had never had a job, so I had no idea how to conduct a job.
You had a job, just not a typical one.
Right, yeah. So I was still working on building up my confidence and learning how to manage a team. But miraculously, 6 months after signing, I opened up Stemistry, and the mayor of Scottsdale came out, and I had a huge event, and it was unbelievable to be able to say I had a store as a sophomore, and it was inspiring to other people. And all of a sudden, I started talking about it and telling other people, this is how I did it, this is how you can do it, and that was a new passion. I realized that I absolutely love doing that, and I've been growing it ever since.
Let's talk about that, because I really wanted to ask that. There are so many, honestly, business mentors that could be your father or grandfather, literally. And here you are almost on the same level as them. I was told that when the Tesla Cybertrucks were coming out, you wanted to buy one and just resell it because you knew it was a great business model for like $100. Like all these little things, you don't have the typical mind of a teenager at your age. What is the advice that you give people? Because even people my age, could learn from you at this point.
Thank you. My favorite quote ever is to be in the 1%, you have to do what the other 99% aren't doing. So on a typical Friday or Saturday night when I was a sophomore, I unfortunately wasn't partying. I was at home working, and it pays off because now I'm able to have a lot more fun and step back even at just 18. I'm talking as if I'm in my my late adult years.
But people see you as that because of how much success you've had in your short life.
Thank you.
You are like at that level.
Thank you. Yeah, it takes hard work, and I always said, why wait? If you have an idea and you have a vision, as long as you take it one step at a time and you create a realistic roadmap to getting to your end goal, it's absolutely doable, whether you're extremely young or extremely old or at any point in life. Everything is doable. So I really just say there's no reason to wait. It's never going to be a good time. So always got to start.
It is true. And listen, that's happened to me too. When I started this podcast business, when I took over Scottsdale City Lifestyle magazine, you can't wait for everything to be in its place or you've already missed missed the game plan. You've already missed the opportunity. So it is so much of when you are a small business owner, learning as you go, taking those chances, making sure not to repeat the same mistakes, which is every life lesson, I feel like.
Totally.
But that's a hard thing to swallow, especially when you also mentioned confidence. You know, you're still building that at this point.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Talk to me about your friends. Like, how did they help you? Because like you said, you're not partying, you're not going out on Friday and Saturday night. How did your friends help you, you know, with your drive, your deliverables, and really help you grow too? Because we rely so much on who our core circle is.
Absolutely. Yeah. You definitely need to surround yourself with the right people. There have been plenty of people throughout high school that have not been supportive or have tried to bash it in any way they can, which is absolutely expected and something you just have to look past. But my close friends were extremely supportive, especially in the developmental couple months where I was building it. Luckily, it was 3 minutes from our school, so that was the hangout spot. You know, I'll make unlimited coffee and get them all caffeinated and ready to go. And they're out building my tables and building my chairs and helping me get ready. So everybody's been extremely supportive. And then throughout the years, now I'm moving on, you know, more and more stores, and I can step back. I have such a good team in place that I'm able now to socialize more and have a little bit more fun in these later years. But it definitely takes supportive people around you to help.
That's amazing. Who is a business mentor that you kind of look up to, whether it's local, your parents, or, you know, someone like a bigger name?
Totally. I have two big mentors. One local one, Sam Fox. He's a huge mentor to me. I absolutely love what he's created with Fox Restaurant Concepts. And I think that it's something I would love to do, something similar. Stemistry is a unique concept, and having a little umbrella of different unique ideas, I think would be really cool. And I've had the chance to talk to him a couple times, and he's been extremely supportive and provided a ton of advice. And another more well-known name, Mark Cuban, is a huge mentor of mine, huge. And when I first opened my Scottsdale store, I had the chance to speak to him, and he gave me some unbelievable advice as well about expanding and monitoring your growth and keeping everything in bite-sized pieces, which I have taken with me every single day since opening, and it has been very helpful. It was great advice.
Is he now an investor in you?
I wish. Maybe coming soon.
Come on, Mark.
Right?
No, I think he's a great person. He's relatable is how I look at Mark Cuban. Not that we're best friends or I've ever spoken to him, but that's how I look at him. Third location is opening up. Talk about all three locations for a second. Tell me about this third one, and what are your expectations for continued growth?
Absolutely, yeah. So after I opened my first store, my mom said to me, you need business attorneys. We need to do this the right way, which I was very opposed to because I like doing everything myself. And that's one thing I've learned to really delegate more. So I got business attorneys, and I said to them, I'm going to open one store a year. And they said, that's insane. You cannot open one store a year. And I said, as long as my growth is in the green and I can continue to, expand in a healthy way, that's my goal. So I opened my Scottsdale store in 2022. And then I was able to find an unbelievable historic building in Heritage Square, downtown Phoenix. And the deal was incredible. As long as we preserve the building and we embrace the history. So we have menu drinks on the menu with original property owners, and our flavor profiles match their characteristic traits, which was super fun getting to build that and incorporate history. And that was our second store in 2023. And now 2024, we have our third store opening within the next month. And that'll be in South Scottsdale, kind of by the Phoenix Zoo and Botanical Gardens. And this one's going to be our biggest yet. It's full build out. It's going to be completely custom. So we're really going to get to build our own brand identity and image inside of there and embrace the space. So I cannot wait.
Do you at each location have specialty drinks for those locations?
We do, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So each spot has mostly the same menu, but we have a little bit of difference in drinks in each one, where we can kind of embrace that building or that area. Okay,
so you come in, you order a coffee, and the flower aspect.
Yes.
So now what you had on Etsy, do you still have that Etsy?
We do, yeah. We still have the store. Yeah.
But you do it in person. So you can buy the stem, and you create your own bouquet now.
Yeah, so that was one thing I wanted to differ from a traditional flower shop. And before I started selling flowers, didn't necessarily have an interest in them. But once I started working with them, I realized, there's some cool flowers out there, and it's kind of fun building bouquets and working with them.
Yeah.
So I wanted to create something to kind of interest people kind of like me. So I created a build your own bouquet bar. So rather than a traditional flower shop where bouquets are very expensive, everything is for sale a la carte. So you walk in and you get a bucket and you can kind of create whatever you'd like and work with the flowers yourself. And either you can build it on your own, or we have florists on our staff that'll come in and they'll assemble it for you and
nice.
wrap it or put it in a vase. So it's fully customized. So I really wanted to streamline that process and make it more immersive. So I like to say Stemistry is not a coffee shop or a flower shop. It's an experience. Even our coffee drinks come on a tray with flowers and a mug, and you come and sit and enjoy the space. So I like to make it a welcoming event space. People can come in and enjoy.
Let's talk about the word event space, because it is that. You can go in and have an event there for yourself and rent it out and do more stuff like that. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Absolutely, yes. So we do private events, corporate events, team building, birthday parties, everything. I mean, you name it and we'll do it, which I absolutely love. It's so much fun getting in groups and getting to engage with them and working with my team and catering to those. So we do all kinds of different events. People can come in and we'll have an event florist come in and teach how to build a bouquet. We do bachelorette parties especially, so we'll do all pinks.
Oh, okay.
And we'll do like coffee tasting menus. We'll teach you how to put coffee. We call it our coffee lab because every drink is pretty unique.
Yeah.
So we really like to engage our customers and teach them as much as we can, whether it's about flowers or about coffee.
So you just graduated high school, you're starting your third location, and you're going to start college at the same time. Again, this is nothing that was on my agenda at your age. I'm just going to say it. I was the one out partying. I would have been a good friend to you, Dylan, but I would not have been in the same mindset.
Yeah.
Talk to me, like now you're going to college. So I know that you're used to this, like you've never not been in school and a business owner.
Right.
But what is ASU? What are you trying to get out of it? What does this next step for you in the future look like?
Yeah, I was very set on not going to college and very vocal about it, which was hard for my parents. And finally, probably last year, were like, you know what, this is what you're doing. You're happy, you're learning a lot, and it's not like you're going to be at home playing video games. You don't have to go to college. And as soon as they said that, I was like, well, I want to go to college. So all that convincing for nothing. But I think there's always something to learn. I always say everybody's a teacher, everybody's a student. I've been able to balance work and high school, and my college schedule is going to be way more flexible.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to really have fun. It's still a kid, like you said. I want to.
I hope you appreciate that. Yeah, take advantage.
Yeah. I don't want to rush growing up too fast. So I'm sure I'm majoring in business at the W.P. Carey School at ASU, which is an incredible school.
Shocking. I don't know what else you do.
Yeah, right. So I think I'll learn a ton, and hopefully I can inspire some other kids there. And, I'd love to work with other students. A lot of big businesses have been built in the dorm room. So I think there's a ton of opportunity to network and expand and continue working on my stores while staying on a good track in school.
Maybe like a fourth store in Tempe, because that's obvious to
incredible.
Me, right?
Yeah, could be coming next. Absolutely.
Dylan, I really think you have an incredible story. I think it goes to show that it doesn't matter your age. Have an idea, find the support system, and you too can be successful. I too love that quote, the 1% successful because they're doing what the 99% isn't, and that really is basic. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's trial and error. And each time you open a store, you're probably learning a new lesson, new difficulties, new challenges to keep growing from there. So congratulations on everything. Go check out Stemistry. Their website is in the description of this, but you can also just find them online at stemistry.com, very basic, and plan your next event there. I think it'd be awesome. Dylan, before we leave, my favorite question to ask everyone, what is your favorite Scottsdale vibe?
Ooh, Scottsdale vibe. I mean, you obviously have to love our sunsets. They're unbelievable. When it cools down, a sunset hike is one of my favorite things to do here. You get to take in the nature and the unbelievable skies. And then Scottsdale vibe, I mean, checking out all the local amenities. We have so many unique local businesses, so many. Every day there's a new one. So you can never get to all of them. So I love going and supporting local.
That's great. I as well do. And you can take that sunset and go make a flower statement with it after that.
Absolutely.
All right, go check out stemistry.com. Again, everything's in the description of this episode. And if you have not been watching us on YouTube, go check out the video portion of this episode as well on the Scottsdale Vibes YouTube. And again, on Scottsdale City Lifestyle is more. Thank you, Dylan. Congratulations on all your success.
Thanks for having me.
All right, stay tuned. We'll be back with a calendar of events coming up next. Buying a home can be scary and sometimes frustrating, but all of that can go away with the right realtor. And that's where Sean Shackleton with the Shackleton Group is here for you. Sean has over 25 years experience in real estate. She's here to get you what you want and won't settle for less. She's experienced, knowledgeable, and understands this market, which these days is always changing. Take the stress out of your next home purchase by calling Sean at 480-734-7277. You can also find her at theshackletongroup.com. In honor of Women's Equality Day, highlighting celebrities, creators, CEOs, designers, and founders who are breaking the mold, pushing the limits, and inspiring others along the way. They're going to be sharing it all at this event exclusively and live here at the W Scottsdale on August 22nd. Go get your tickets now. You'll get to meet lots of vendors and spend an afternoon with your ladies. Some summer wine series at the Museum of Illusion is back. It's returning on Thursdays to enjoy light bites, DJ beats, and 2 glasses of wine, courtesy of the Wine Collective. It is a 21 and up event, so go with your friends, partners, family, whatever you want to do for have some fun, or go by yourself and meet some new people. There's no better way to experience the mind-bending exhibits, reality-distorting installations, and immersive illusion rooms. Get your tickets early because time slots will sell out. I have been. It is fun. Go, go, go. Well, it is still hot outside, so a splish and splash poolside at Andaz Resort and Spa. You can enjoy an evening of flavor and fun as you watch the bar teams from 2 different local bars and restaurants go head-to-head, showcasing their creativity, skill, and passion for mixology. All attendees will have the opportunity to become the judge of the competition by enjoying samples of the diverse cocktails made and casting your vote for the best one. Go have some fun, Scottsdale. Keep vibing, and I'll see you around town.